Hi guys, just a quick look at the VCI Vectronics model VC300DLP. I believe the DLP is referencing the dummy load that's internal. I think there might be a model without the dummy load that's just the VC300 maybe. Made by MFJ. Very similar to a lot of their tuners, the Versa Tuner Deluxe 948 I think it is, or something like that, Versa Tuner 2 or something like that. Very similar to that model. And made by the same company as far as I know. The dummy load inside it is the MFJ 115-1500 that goes in their 1500 watt non-inductive dummy load, which is obviously that means that this is a non-inductive dummy load as well. So it's 100 watts for 10 minutes is its peak sort of performance, and 1500 watts for X amount of seconds. I'm not sure of the stats on that. So it's a good dummy load, really. The only downside is, as you can see here, there's a tune option to tune your dummy load. Now, why would you want to tune a dummy load? Isn't the SWR meant to be 1-to-1 on a dummy load with no feedback, just all going to the dummy load? Well, unfortunately, with this type of dummy load, you can get a bit of SWR at certain frequencies. Now, this one's not too bad. I think we get up to about 1.3, 1.4 on the dummy load, which it's acceptable, but that's sort of, it would have been better to have an inductive dummy load. I think it's inductive, I'm not sure, or this is inductive, I can't remember. So the type that gives you low SWR, that's what I'm trying to say. So the dummy load, you can tune it though, and obviously tuning it won't hurt, and you can get it down to 1-to-1 SWR, which is good. So it's got a good dummy loading. And now I'm reviewing it because when I started doing my channel, I started reviewing radios that people just don't do that many reviews on. There's not that many reviews on the ICOM ICR75, not loads. There's a couple. There's a few more now, a bit later on. But I started doing reviews on things that no one ever covered. Now, I saw this. I've seen this for sale a few times. It fetches between about £100 and £190. It's maximum sort of thing. I think it's about £230 brand new it was. I didn't buy it now. I bought it off eBay for a reasonable sum. So I do videos on things like this because no one does them. There's nothing on this. There's just some old shaky cam videos with a tuner, and it might be this. So I try to actually do reviews on what I think people may be interested in. If not, I just sort of do it because I'm interested in it. Anyway, so let's just talk you through it. I bought this because I wanted to have my coax switch, my antenna selection switch, local to the radios. It used to be up in a cupboard that way. I'm pointing that way, it's up there in a cupboard. And I used to have to get up. I know it sounds lazy, but I'm up and down a lot during the day and in my personal life, so it's nice to actually sit down. So I wanted a switch that's in front of me, so there's one of the reasons. Secondly, I wanted a dummy load built in. Now, there's not loads of them that have got the dummy load built in, so it's quite a nice feature, although you can tune it to get the SWR low, which is a good feature, but it should be low anyway. But anyway, also I wanted cross needle because I really quite like cross needle. I wanted peak and average because I like reading AM a bit more accurately. It hasn't got a peak hold. It just slows it down, which has got a good indication of the peak. It hasn't got a peak hold, a proper peak hold, because it doesn't use any power to hold it. It just slows the decay down, I believe. With mechanics probably. Anyway, or probably electronics actually, with a little capacitor or something. Right, so another reason I like it is because if you look on the left here, which you can just about see, it's got bypass, which means it's got 1, 2, 3 antenna inputs. Now, as I only deal with receivers, usually, I've had it on the transmitter as well. I've done a little short video on that. There's a bit of a fault on it. But as I only normally go with receivers, it's great to be able to bypass. It's great to be able to have 3 antennas, 2 HF, and then one for one that bypass. That's always bypass. That's on this side, the bypass side. It says direct under there, but you can't quite see. But that's direct. So the bypass one means it's not having any influence from the tuner, all on this left-hand section from the front. So that means that none of this is tuned, but you can't tune that one. So you get 3 antennas you can't tune and 1 and 2 you can tune, but you also get wire there as well, which means you can run a long wire, an end fed, or a doublet, is it? I'm not sure, but yes, there's 3 connections on the back, 3 banana connections, terminal type connections. You're meant to link 2 of them out for a certain kind of connection. I can't remember, but it does allow for you to have an end fed or a doublet. I think it's called the doublet. We have two out maybe, or a ladder line or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not up on antennas, and I'm getting there. I'm learning, but yeah. Anyway, so it allows me to choose my 3 antennas. One I'll never tune because I can't. It's on bypass, but I'll never need to tune a discone that's on 25 megahertz to 1.3 gig because this doesn't tune that, so there's no point having it run through the tune. It might be resonant on other frequencies, but that's not a bad. That's good because when I'm on my receivers, on my higher end receivers, higher frequency end, I can use that one for the 70 centimeters and 2 meters, and that doesn't need tuning because it's a really good antenna on there. And then I can still choose from 2 other antennas, tuned or untuned, to run on HF, VHF or UHF, so it's quite enough, or a wire like I just mentioned. Also, you've got a lamp function, which is part of the fault. If you plug the lamp in from the power supply, then do anything over about 40 or 50 watts, the bulb lights up even though you've got it off, which is a bit of a fault. Done a little short on that if you want to check that out. But I wanted all this, so I wanted 3 connections inputs. I've had to sacrifice that one not being tuned, but it doesn't really matter like I just said. I wanted 3 input antennas, dummy load internal, peak average, which is actually a really nice peak hold. It's not, like I said, it's not a timed peak hold, but it's a slow down decay. And then I've got 30 watts and 300 watts, which is great. I've read these and I would probably agree they're not made for 300 watts. They're probably more like 150 watts. They're meant to be 100 watts CW down to about 1.3 megahertz on that frequency. So I would say that you could probably, I would rate it about 100 watts on FM or CW. And then probably about twice that on, or maybe 150, maybe pushing it. But a load of people said if you run power through them more than 150 watts or 300 watts RMS or PEP, you'll get, PEP, 300 watts PEP, you'll get problems. And I can believe it because, yeah, they don't look like they can take 300 watts PEP or 200 watts like it says in the manual. CW, I don't think that's right. I think more like 100 watts. Anyway, it's enough waffle on that. So let's just have a quick tune. I find it to be quite good. These are nice tight controls. Everything works nice. I will say these 3 are very, very, what's the word? Slight movement gives you a lot. Slightest little movement gives you a lot. But especially on this one, which is notched, this one is, but they seem to be like gritty, but you can get them exactly where you want them, which is the whole point, I suppose. Let me just point you to the manual if anyone's interested. So this is the manual that the guy printed for me. So as you can see there, you've got on the right hand side there, you've got inductance. Now that's the one that really makes the big difference at the start. That's why I always start with inductance. But they've got here suggested there, frequency there, 1.8 megs. I'm on 40 meters now, 7.157 megahertz, and we're on B. Now I'll just show you that B suggested. You can write your actual as well. It does say at the top, it might not be exact, but it's actually really, really good. I've found it to be very accurate, and it's quite a good tuner. If you listen now, I'll put the preamp on so we've got a bit of signal. And we've got no signal, great. I've put the dummy load on. Yeah, I'll put the dummy load on for some reason. It's because I went downstairs for dinner and turned the dummy load on. Okay, so not dummy load, the 0 position on my antenna switch. So let's just have. There you go. Look at this. Goes down.
I thought about just quitting it altogether and just not doing it, but I
goes up. Same with these. So it's bang on where they said ish on B.
So I've no preamp, but I've got it down to an S0 with the various antennas I have. If I could just keep the units working. The amplifier.
This is the guy that does. It sounds like the guy that does reviews on YouTube to me. It's very similar to his accent, but he's Welsh. So the Welsh accents, if I'm not from the area, it sounds the same to me. So that weak signal. You can peak it. If you go there to non-tuned, you can see the difference. Not tuned, just about S1. Tuned, we're getting more audio and S2. That's it for now, guys. I'm going to cut that one short and do a video part 2 coming up soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.